Okay, this video actually I'm recording off of a request from a friend named Brett McMasters. So thank you so much, Brett, for the recommendation here. And it's actually a good topic. And this one actually surprised me, or at least the first one actually surprised me. So we're going to get into it right now. So look, most homeowners don't lose money because they picked the wrong agent. Not saying that never happens, but most of the time that's not the reason why. They lose money before the house ever hits the market. They'll spend $40,000 or however many thousands of dollars to get the home ready to sell. And then they sit at the closing table wondering why the number that they spent over time and over years didn't really move the needle. I probably should have said that in the beginning because not a lot of people spend $40,000, but you know what I'm saying. So, and this happens over and over again because nobody ever explained the difference between three different things that kind of sound the same, but they really aren't. So what actually adds value to your home? What actually makes your home easier to sell? And what makes your home better to live in while you're still there? So those are three completely different things. And if you don't know which one you're doing before you start spending, you will spend money in the wrong place. So in this video, I'm going to show you which upgrades actually add resale value, which ones help you compete, and which ones are kind of really disguised as lifestyle spending, disguised as an investment, right? I think I said disguised twice there. But by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly where to spend your money before you sell, and of course, where to stop. So my name is Brandon Browning. I'm a real estate agent in the greater Baton Rouge area with Real Broker, and I work in the greater Baton Rouge area, but that's not important. So let's get into it. So here's the thing that the market doesn't care about. The market doesn't care about what you spend. And what I mean by that is this: your kitchen remodel, your new floors, your outdoor kitchen, buyers are not looking at your receipts, right? They're not asking for the receipts on that. They're looking at your home compared to every other home that they can buy at the same price point at that moment in time. And that's really the whole game, right? So if every other house in your price range has granite countertops, updated flooring, a clean exterior, those things aren't really going to make your home stand out. They're going to keep you competitive, of course, but competitive is not the same as valuable. And spending money to keep up is not the same thing as spending money to get ahead. Now, to get into the data a little bit, we're going to see what actually adds value. And I want you to pay attention here because this first one actually surprised me too. Shouldn't have, but it did. Every year, a company called Zonda publishes what's called the Cost versus Value Report. They're in their 38th year. They survey contractors, real estate appraisers across 119 markets all over the country. The National Association of Realtors cites it, Redfin cites it, Zillow cites it. It's pretty much the gold standard for this question. What home improvements actually return money at the closing table? And for the second year in a row, the number one return on investment out of pocket on every project they tracked is not the kitchen, it's not the bathroom, and it's not the master suite addition. It is actually the garage door replacement. Yes, the garage door replacement. I know I had the same reaction, but after I sat back and thought about it, it kind of makes sense. So here's the number. The average cost of a garage door replacement is around $4,700. The average resale value added is $12,500. That's a 268% return on your money. And garage doors have held that number one or number two spot in the report for the last 6 out of 7 years. Why is that? Kind of makes sense, right? Because buyers make their decision before they ever walk in the door. Before they see your countertops, before they see your floors, before they see anything that you spent the big money on, right? They're forming an opinion as they're pulling up from the street in literally 8 seconds. So that's why exterior upgrades keep dominating the return on investment year after year. So garage doors, front door replacements, the type of siding you do, clean landscaping, fresh mulch, pressure washing, soft washing, exterior lighting. None of that sounds exciting, of course, but it all moves the needle. And here's what most homeowners, and honestly, a lot of agents, completely get backwards. Kitchens. Now, kitchens matter, of course. There's no argument there. But this is where homeowners sink most money for their least return. And the 2025 data is clear here. So a minor kitchen refresh, that's a different story. You'll recover most of what you spent, sometimes all of it. Now you go and you do a full luxury kitchen, gut renovation, what you're spending $80,000 to $100,000, maybe more. You might get $35,000 back at the closing table because again, the market doesn't care what you spent. Look, buyers want a kitchen that feels clean, updated, move-in ready, functional, but they're not reimbursing you for your taste, right? They're not paying you back for the most expensive appliances, the custom cabinetry, the tile that you love, the backsplash that you love. They're paying for the feeling that they can move in without a project waiting on them. So before you tear out a kitchen, you got to ask yourself, what objection am I actually removing for the buyer? Because sometimes the honest answer is just, updated hardware, new lighting, fresh paint, clean countertops, which might cost you, $3,000 to $5,000 instead of $30,000, and it'll probably do the same job. Now, bathrooms, they work exactly the same way. A dark, dated, neglected bathroom will cost you money because buyers stand in that room and they start mentally subtracting from their offer. They might not say it out loud, but they're doing it. So a clean, bright, updated bathroom, it kind of stops that subtraction, right? But it doesn't always mean a full renovation. Sometimes it just means new mirrors, new lighting, fresh caulk, updated fixtures, and paint. Sometimes that's literally the whole answer. Now, moving on to the next one is pools, right? Because pools in Louisiana comes up constantly. Does a pool add value? Of course it does, but you could also say sometimes. Is a pool guaranteed a return on your investment? No, because the data said so. I don't like to agree sometimes, but the data says that you're getting roughly a 1% to 7% added value, because an in-ground pool might cost you $40,000 to $100,000 to install. So you're already seeing the problem, right? Now, of course, we're in a warm climate. We're not in Minnesota. So a pool fits the lifestyle here. The right neighborhood at the right price, a pool definitely does help you sell. It attracts certain buyers. It can make the backyard feel like the reason someone's buying a house. But here's what people miss. When you see statistics about the pool home selling at premium, a lot of those homes are also bigger. They're in nicer neighborhoods, in higher price ranges. The pool didn't create that premium alone, right? It was just a feature of the home already competing at a higher level. So my honest answer is this: build a pool when your family wants a pool and you're going to use it. Don't install one a year before or a year and a half before, maybe even 2 years before you know you're probably going to sell, because that's not really an investment. That's kind of a gamble. But look, if the pool's already there, that changes the conversation entirely. Now the question is it clean? Is it maintained? Is it visually appealing? Because a beautiful pool in the right neighborhood can absolutely help you, right? We would all agree with that. But a neglected, green, cracked pool is going to show up on the inspection report and become a negotiating weapon for the buyer. Now, moving on to privacy fences, similar, right? People can overestimate or even underestimate them. A fence is probably not going to move your appraised value significantly. An appraiser isn't going to walk in your backyard and add $20,000 to the number because of a wood fence. But of course, a fence can change how a buyer feels about the home, especially with families with kids and dogs. It's a lot of times a requirement. It makes your backyard feel usable, and it can absolutely remove an objection. And of course, it checks a box that may be on their list before they even schedule a showing. And here's the context piece. If your whole neighborhood has fenced-in backyards and yours doesn't, buyers will notice that absence before they will notice a new fence. That missing fence can be the reason why someone keeps scrolling on their phone. Now, moving on, I want to talk to you about what actually kills value at the closing table, because this is the part that nobody wants to hear. It's not usually the countertop. It's usually that aging roof, right? Or the aging HVAC system. That deferred maintenance, the rotting wood, the fogged windows, the drainage issue in the backyard, the old water stain on the ceiling that you may have painted over 3 or 4 times. That foundation concern that you figured the buyers would notice. A buyer can, love your kitchen. They can love the floors, the backyard, the whole thing. And then the inspection report comes back and everything changes, because buyers have options in this market. And when that report gives them a reason to renegotiate, they will try to use everything on that list to negotiate that price. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of deals can fall apart. Not the backsplash, the inspection report. Just heard a story just last week about a deal falling through because of the inspection report. So here's the question to ask before you ever spend a single dollar in getting your home ready to sell. Am I doing this for the buyer, or am I doing this to make myself feel better about selling? So both are really good questions, but you have to be honest with the answer, because they can lead to completely different decisions. Now, of course, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but if you're staying in this home for years, build for your life, right? Put in the pool, renovate the bathroom, make the house work for you and your family. That's, of course, what homes are for. But if you're planning to sell 2 years, 3 years down the road, that can completely change the conversation. Now you have to look at it through the buyer's eyes. What are they seeing at your price range right now? What's the condition that those homes are in? What features are common? What does your home have that the others don't? And what does it still need? And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, the most financially sound decision you can make make is to stop spending money on upgrades entirely and just price the home correctly. So if you're sitting there now and you're thinking about selling your home, and you don't know what to renovate, don't know what to repair, you don't know what to clean up, or you're just thinking about just selling it as is, that's a decision that has to be made before you write another check, before you spend another dollar. So I put together a complimentary guide for this. It's called Before You Spend a Dollar. It's a checklist, a quick reference guide, a scorecard, I guess you can say, and you can use it to rate your own home right now. The download link is in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you want a free personalized recommendation based on your specific home, I also built a tool that walks you through step by step. That link is in the description as well. So download that guide, go through that, and I promise you it'll help you make these decisions. So if you're in Livingston Parish, Ascension Parish, East Baton Rouge, or anywhere in the greater Baton Rouge area, this is the market I'm working. I'm here to help you, because the expensive mistake isn't failing to upgrade your house. It's upgrading the wrong thing. And the question's simple. Are you making improvements for the buyer, or are you just making yourself feel better about selling? Those are two very different things, and knowing the difference before you start is worth more than any upgrade that you can put in. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Brandon Browning.